Welcome back to Kelliot. In this week's episode, we're talking all thing design trends. Did Adobe get it right or did Canva get it right? And what about other people? We're also going to hear about Kel's design trends that they reckon are trending. Did they get it right? And what am I going to say? A great episode? Was that good?
I think that's perfect.
Okay, let's use that. Everything is good. Everything is good.
Nothing sounds like it's taking off.
No, nothing. Well, I mean, the computer, this it absolutely sounds like it's taking off, but it's been doing that for so long. There is so much dust inside of this PC that I haven't turned it on in like a month. I let it like sit for an hour this morning just before, like just to make sure it was like it was fine, and I think it's okay in the end. Because newsflash, everyone, Kelly's kind of got a new setup right now. Notice anything? Notice the quality, the camera quality?
Guys, new year.
HD.
New Kelliot.
Neue Jahr, neue Kelliot.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Many such cases.
Yes. Everything's looking all flash and new now. We had a business meeting the other day. Well, that's how serious we are about this fucking thing. We had a business meeting. It went for like 2 hours. We discussed a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think Kel,
I'm proud of us.
Oh, I'm very proud. I think, dare I say, big things coming.
And you know what? I think in a joint venture, when we say big things coming, I feel like it's more serious because we have the other person. I don't want to disappoint. Like I don't want to disappoint.
Legit, exactly. We can't just like talk about these ideas.
I can disappoint myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But every day. But
that was the loudest meow I've ever heard.
That's Benny. That's Benny. He is awake from his nap, and he is looking for me.
Oh, bless. That's so good. I love a good...
He is descending. He is so loud. Yeah. It's been a while since I've talked about how loud Benny is. But yeah, that man can yell. Yeah. Got big pipes on him.
I'm readjusting to this high quality camera stuff. It makes me feel like we were filming the early episodes.
It's really freaky.
It's thrown me into an absolute spiral. The casualness of it is like, it's actually taken me back to like episode 1 of recording this podcast. Mm-hmm. It's quite funny. Interesting adjustment. Adjustment. The casual webcam nature has disappeared, and now we are a high production studio. We have so much more to share as well. Like I've set up shit. This is going to be cool. It's going to be cool what you're about to witness. We have visual references now. Who would have thought the design podcast can now accommodate visual references without editing and post? Yeah. Boom. Sound effects.
That's the ultimate key there is without editing and post.
Yes, exactly. This is now a one-click show, essentially, which is very awesome because I would have sleepless nights editing this. Which isn't true, but it would. There's something.
A lot of people don't think about like when you record something like this, like the file size.
That's what it is.
To record something, like it is so massive, and your computer hates dealing with it. And then like going through and editing footage like that, like camera footage, and then God forbid you add screen recording.
Oh God,
it's like, and you can't.
Once the video gets longer than like an hour in the Premiere Pro timeline, it also just the scrolling becomes like you just can't even comprehend the timeline, anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's gone. And then like the idea of trying to zoom in and find the exact frame that we mentioned this one thing so I could put on the screen was like hell to me, because it's one thing to do it and it's another thing to do it to someone else's podcast. It's another thing to listen to yourself again and then try and like over and over and try and like. Once I record, I'm kind of. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it ever again. We're one and done. We will get an editor eventually. That's something we're looking into. But this is a good. I'm actually quite excited to edit this now because of all the things that I've done. So it's pretty cool. Hey, Kel. What did I say I was going to do for the intro again?
I don't know, actually.
What's the... Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to this episode of Kelliot. My name is Kel.
And my name is Elliot. And we are...
We are.
Designers who
care.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. New year, and we still give a shit.
Oh,
it's good.
And I'm, it's only become more and more apparent that it's just us. It's just us who give a shit.
Yeah.
I think it's just you and me.
Just me
and
you.
The great listeners of Kelliot. Right, George is moving behind me.
George would like to use the printer,
he's
I think.
over here.
Hello, George.
George wants to show whole again.
Hello, George.
He can't.
He's really gets into that. Some cats need to keep their privacy.
Guys, we have a really good episode planned for you today.
Keyword is planned. Keyword is planned.
Big.
Yeah, we have things.
Structure.
I'm looking at like 50 assets in front of me that we're going to show you all. Like this is what the business meeting was for. This is exciting. Mm-hmm. It's planned. It's happening. Yeah, it's good. It's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I think with the beginning of the year being here, maybe us being slightly helpful and talking about stuff that is actually more graphic design related. And today we're going to be talking about trends, things that we think are good, things that we think are accurate, and I don't know how they'll impact the year, and if it's stuff that is new, stuff that is old, and things that I've seen in like client work. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
To show you what we dug up.
It is truly a mandatory thing for all design blogs, design YouTube channels for the last like decade. For some reason, they seem it necessary to cover design trends. I think a lot of it is it's clickbaity. It makes sense. It gets views no matter how many are posted. For some reason, people still care.
And that's definitely not why we're doing it.
No. We would never. We would never. The trend of posting about graphic design trends. We care, exactly. We're doing a constructive take on design trends because I can't deny things do trend. We need to accept that. Do trends come and go on a yearly basis? That's a very short amount of time. Like it's kind of weird that we write about it. I think every like few years maybe an article should be written about it, like looking forward. Like what we've noticed, it takes a longer scope to get a true sense of what actually trended in the last little while. Every year is a lot, but I think it's always fun to look at. I can't help myself from looking at it, and we've compiled a bunch of stuff. Kel's gone and done a bunch of reading on all these articles. I haven't seen some of this stuff. I'm very excited to see it all. And then I of course have got some YouTube sources that I've pulled because I can't help myself. I simply can't help myself.
Elliot can't read.
I cannot read. I don't know how. I can observe. I like to observe, not read. To digest, perhaps. Digest some of these chips that I've got in this little bowl. I'm going to be snacking on chips today, everyone. Fucking cold refrigerated chips from last night. Yikes. It's not easy at the top.
Oof.
Oh, no.
Nice and soggy.
Oh,
actually, they're probably not soggy.
No,
they're probably like really stiff.
They're stiff. That's what it is. They're stiff. Yeah. They're a bit dry. They had a real nice crunch to them last night, Bob. Shout out to Fat Fish in Haberfield, I think. They do a great Uber Eats. All right. Shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Drum roll for this reveal, everyone. Watch this. I'm about to... Just a little behind the scenes, or just I can't help talk. I must talk about this. Look at this, everyone on the screen.
Logistically, for us to figure this out, it's a work of art.
I'm so proud of what we've done. So, just a tiny little context before we get into it. It's funny. Part of this, what we said is we should get into it quicker. That was one of the notes that we said today, and we had to. But we are like this is the Great Reset. This is season 2.
If we're under like 25 minutes, that's quick.
Honestly, yeah.
To get into
you're not wrong.
The meat of the matter.
You're wrong. I would like to talk about my week first. No, so what we've got here is this current scene, and with the press of a button, I'm going to take us into somewhere else. Now, we're a design podcast, and we hardly ever show you guys things, and I think that doesn't make any sense. And now we're able to do that. So through the power of Figma, everyone, Figma. And its Fig Jam capabilities, we can now take us to this screen by the press of. I just did that with the press of a button. It's all live, guys. And now we have a little space here that we can actually share things. For example, I can pull in this little screenshot here, which is a notification that I received this morning that Adobe Live 7 hours ago decided to comment some things on my posts, and then 7 hours later followed me on Instagram. Just something that I would like to share with everyone. I was very confused by this. I don't really like the love heart eyes. I thought that was a bit much on a picture of me in a bald cap. Yeah. So good on
that's reserved for like 40-year-old men in my Instagram comments.
Yeah. I don't.
Grandma.
I think someone forgot to switch their accounts, potentially. It feels a bit like it feels unbranded. So we have the power now to do things like this, which is very cool. And we can just drag that out. We've got I could cry. So with that being said, we're gonna show you, we can now show you what we're talking about live. It's thrilling.
With minimal editing and post, guys. You don't understand.
Guys, this is where the Patreon money is going.
This is huge.
This is it. This is where it goes into. It's awesome. So, yeah. Hey, let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's chat.
Cool. All right. Do you want me to go first?
Please.
Okay, guys. So, in my research, I found good, bad, and ugly trends. So, I'm going to start with a research that I would call unprofessional, lackluster, not using any of the resources that they might have at their fingertips to be helpful. So we're going to start off strong with an article that I found that was recently posted from adobe.com. My favorite.
Heard of them?
Favorite people. So I have their design trends. These are their graphic design trends for 2025. And we're just going to go through them really quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them because you'll see why. And I want to actually give you, God forbid, useful information. So starting off strong, we've got AI-powered design. This is a real thing that Adobe put at number 1 for their trend forecasting. And their
number
little blurb
1 is
with
crazy.
No visuals to accompany this, by the way.
Yeah, true. All the others are visuals.
This is just text.
Wow.
I thought it was maybe the browser wasn't loading for me. But no, the other ones had images that loaded, but not for this one. So Adobe said for number 1, AI-powered design, more and more designers are integrating AI into their design workflows as a personal assistant to help with inspiration and ideation, as well as to add finishing touches to designs. In the right hands, AI can be an incredibly powerful tool for creating designs both unique and extraordinary. However, AI is not here to replace the need for all designers. While AI image generation is amazing for non-designers to capture the vision, they don't have the skills to create. AI is best used by designers when it's to amplify their existing skills. They skirt around that so carefully.
They're dancing. They're absolutely tiptoeing around it. It's ridiculous.
Wow. So excited about the future.
It's just playing it so safe, the whole thing. It's like, hey, we're not replacing anyone. Hey. It's like, we're not replacing anyone. We are, it's amplifying stuff. And I love the while AI image generation is amazing for non-designers to capture the vision they don't have the skills to create, I think is such an interesting one, because I know that's where they're like with things like Remix and all the other stuff that we saw in Adobe Max, they are leaning towards not just image generation, but design generation as well for non-designers to capture the vision. And it almost feels like, because I think something like Canva and a more template-based design software is very much, that's what it's fit for. People who don't necessarily have the skills to create something entirely from scratch. And it's like their answer, I feel like, to beat Canva would be to eventually just be able to AI design stuff when there is, I think, a perfectly fit thing in Canva, but they just make too much money and Adobe's scared, so they have to like try and top one up them. It's a joke. I also love the further reading instead of an image too. 7 ways to make a statement with Firefly AI text effects? Like, fuck me. Make a statement?
Oh my God.
Adobe needs to release a statement about this.
This Like, this is...
AI is best used when it's used to designers to enhance their natural talent.
Yeah.
Girl, fuck off. Anyway, again, keeping it nice and strong with really innovative thinking here, we're going to go into bold minimalism. Thank you, Adobe.
Oh, I hate
really
this.
Noble.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Noble journalism you're doing here. Wow. So, number 2, bold minimalism. Minimalism is coming into 2025 with a much stronger and bolder impact. Look out for designs with few elements, but with heavy emphasis on the ones that are featured. Bold typography and color palettes across stripped back. Simple designs are something we expect to see more of this coming year.
Slop. It's slop. It's just
slop.
Like, it's absolute slop. Like, this is what I find this so frustrating about all these blogs, all these fucking videos that post stuff like this. It's just, it comes from nowhere, and the explanation is always slop. These images that they've provided as well. Yes. Also, you'll notice this in the Adobe ones, everyone. They're not like stuff people have made. That they're Adobe templates. So that's this entire thing.
Yeah, this is from Adobe Express.
It's literally just to get you to use Adobe Express. Like, that's the whole purpose of this article. And
which is not doing a very good job. If you're because Adobe Express is kind of, a templative web browser thing. Yeah. So it's supposed to be very plug and play, and that's something that Canva does, I think, significantly better with their plug and play approach to design, where this is like, this is so insanely underwhelming when you compare it to a competitor like Canva.
Oh, 100%. And like, I don't even think... Would you call these images minimalism at all?
No.
Like, I mean, no, that's the thing. Like, there's the pattern on the green one. Like, there's a texture in the background. Like, and the image is like there are so many elements in the green one. Like, it doesn't even feel bang on. And this is a pattern that we will recognize a lot today. It is just a thing of like the text doesn't match the title, which doesn't match the images, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic, and I'm tired of saying it's not. Yeah. Shout out to bold minimalism.
Typography and color palettes across stripped back, simple designs.
It's just adjective and like art. What would be the word for minimalism, brutalism, all that? Style, art style.
Maximalism.
Yeah. Adjective,
like this is,
art style combined, and that's how you make a trend.
It's that Phoebe Bridgers tweet of like, girls who eat croissants are hot, and it's just like the words, like the Mad Libs, just like blank that does this is blank. That's this. It's just like 100%. It's Mad Libs.
Yeah.
All right. And now this one kind of shocked me to my core that they put this on here. Number 3 from the great noble overlords at adobe.gov. They decided metallics, shades of silver, chrome, and other metallic hues are set to rise in popularity in 2025, with the metal aesthetic seeping into many more designs across the end of the year. With WGSN and Coloro?
Never heard of either of this. Yeah.
Never heard of I know WGSN because I went to fashion school. Declaring future dust, dark blue with hints of purple and gray as the color of the year. Oh, it's so interesting that you didn't mention Pantone, given your glazing of Pantone. That's so interesting, Adobe.
They giving credit to a competing color of the year. I didn't even know there was a competing color of the year. Oh, now I'm intrigued.
Maybe they're beefing with Pantone.
I mean, I do think future dust sounds better than what was it, mocha mousse. I think that's a more accurate. Mocha mousse was pretty rough.
I think like the color of my new headphones, the name that they came with is Dusky Sky, and I love that.
Yeah,
I love that name.
Dusky Sky is good.
But yeah, I agree with like the color, but the metallic thing, this is like, this was really popular when I was in college. So that was in like 2016, I would say, is when it really started to become popular. And then at my first like big design job, it was really like holographic. What's the rainbow foil?
Oh yeah. Fuck me. Yeah. Prism. No.
You guys know. It's in this reference, if you're looking at the visuals, where it says this is a cover title.
What's the word?
Just like a holographic foil, if you want.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
It's not like prismatic, is it? No, it's not prismatic. It's something else.
No.
It's something like that. Yeah.
It's a specific kind of foil that they use in print. But this was really popular in like 2016, 2017. So then it kind of had like a resurgence with like the digital chrome. And I feel like there is few trends that are more dead than like the chrome look.
Yeah.
So this is strange to me.
Chrome was one of those trends that like, yeah, Chrome was like hard and fast. Like everyone, it was a thing. There were the tutorials. Like everyone kind of used it for a real good bit there.
Everybody,
and that was like a good 2-3 years ago. And it's like still here and there, but it's not like. I mean, I don't know if
it's not the main.
Yeah, no. But we'll call it metallics instead.
Woo.
Yeah.
What the hell? Sure.
Bloody hell.
Number 4, Pixels.
The movie. Pixels the movie with Adam Sandler.
Increased use of pixelation has been noted across typography and branding, giving a tech-focused yet retro vibe. Surprisingly fitting for a variety of industries due to its versatility. I hard disagree.
Yeah.
This use of pixels can emanate a playful, tech-savvy aesthetic that feels both modern and anchored to the early digital age. This is the effect. This is the lasting effect of millennials. I think there are so many more interesting takes on pixel art, like the ASCII trend.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think other like digital versions of that where like I used to do when I was in college where you open the live text of a photo and then you just fuck with the code a little bit. And then you could just like data mosh it or some shit. I don't remember what it's called. But you would mess with the code there and then you'd really like just like mess up the image. And that's how I used to do it in a way that was like interesting and actually doing something that is kind of like unique and you're going to kind of get a different effect every time by messing with the actual code. So I think like that version of it is really way more interesting than pixel type.
Yeah, because I think this is like I've seen pixels like a lot on trends videos in like the last year specifically, and I think it is the people got tired of like vintage paper texture like grunge, so they've moved to pixels as a way of filling in the gap of like the retro trend, like what's the vintage trend for this year, and pixels is it. But like I think pixels is already overdone, and like now the next thing is like, if anything, not to talk about Brat, but honestly, like things like that, like JPEG compression, right? Like what's next, what's after pixels, I think is what like we should be looking toward. And I think JPEG compression
like
is exactly that. Yeah. Artifacts, like resolution, like adjusting with like a bit more detail and like getting into the metadata of it all. Yeah, deep fried stuff. Like pixels is a bit too, like that's arcade machines, you know? Pixels is too VHS. Like it's, we've already felt the nostalgia of that, and we're moving on to like like everyone's saying we've already like we've moved on to the early 2000s kind of style of shit. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, shame.
Sorry. Next, shapes, guys.
Shapes.
Not only is the use of bold and unique shapes likely to feature more heavily in 2025 designs, adding structure and dimension to visuals, but so is the use of photos cropped into custom shapes for more creative and free-flowing design elements that have flexibility and character. What are we talking about?
Yep. This one is this one's clueless. Absolutely.
This has been going on for ages.
Yeah.
Like wait, you're putting a photo inside a shape? Oh.
Me rushing to the computer after saying that photo in shape tutorial, please. Clipping mask?
Impossible. Now, this one haunts me.
Yeah.
This is going to do irreversible damage to mankind. Number 6, textured grains. Perhaps indicative of the industry's need for a little imperfection during a time wherein flawless AI-generated imagery, I wonder who did that. Has become ubiquitous. I wonder who aided in that. The use of textured grains in graphic design is on the rise. Used to add depth and movement Throwing a little texture into your work can make it feel more tangible, raw, and edgy.
Fuck me. Just call it noise. Call it noise and say that people have been using it for forever. Yeah, that's
Do it, man.
yeah, that's textured grains. Grains inherently have texture. That's the whole thing. You can't like. Yeah.
This is like
this
someone who
sucks.
is in like someone who did not have any access to technology for like a decade, and then is exploring the internet for the first time, and then they came up with this trend
legit
list.
textured grains.
Okay.
That sounds like something I would eat in the morning if I had like a really specific. Oh yeah, just let me have my bowl of textured grains before I just take my medication.
Oh, hold on.
We've lost AirPods.
They've gone away.
I thought Kel was about to grab a bowl of textured grains.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
These chips suck, everyone, if you're wondering.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. Yay. Sorry, AirPods. Worst battery in the world. Okay, moving on. So back to this one also gagged me. Maximalist illustration. What are we doing? What are we doing here? When it comes to illustration in 2025, more is more. Wait, guys, I thought... But you
bold
said...
minimal.
You said bold minimalism.
No, but the type will be minimalistic, but the illustrations will be maximalist, and that's how it works.
Yeah. So the thing that really shocked me about this are the examples that they used here for maximalist illustration. We're expecting to see a variety of elaborate and complex illustrations that are busy, colorful, and vibrant. Colorful and vibrant are really adding to that.
Really doing that, yeah.
Really doing a lot of heavy lifting there. This trend allows you to capture your audience's attention and force them to slow down to acknowledge the detail of your work. That's crazy.
I love force them to slow down. That's such a funny phrase.
So, yeah, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? So, go to our next one.
Oh my God.
Retro serif.
Lord help me.
Serif.
Lord help me, retro
Yeah.
serif. Lord help me. Retro serif. Retro serif.
What the hell,
are
sir?
we doing? How do these get worse and worse every single year? Like, it just doesn't make. I just.
No, Elliot, but hear them
Does
out.
anyone care?
Do words have any
I feel
meaning
like I'm the only one
anymore?
who cares. Ah!
And that's why we have this podcast.
Yeah, legit.
Retro typography and color palettes used in conjunction with modern layouts establish a sense of nostalgia and whimsy.
Ooh,
Whimsy!
whimsy.
But with a fresh twist. Popular in branding, the retro serif trend was big last year, and it's sure to stick around.
Oh God.
It's
Is that Cooper
again,
Black?
like the examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, a creative agency. And then that looks like Yellowtail
Yeah.
above it. Hindley. I don't know what on God's green earth is going on to the left of that.
Yeah, I'm baffled. Absolutely baffled.
That sticker texture is really so retro serif. This doesn't mean this is the most useless, arguably the most useless one because it literally means nothing at all. This one, number 9, Gothic badges and crests. Now, this is one that I kind of agree with, and we'll talk about it more later. We're seeing a modern Gothic fonts paired with badges and crests making the rounds in the world of branding, packaging, and logo design. The use of such allows brands to convey a sense of reliability, experience, and trustworthiness while giving an air of old world elegance and sophistication. Now, I think the example on the right is much better than the example on the left here.
Yes.
And
It's actually got some kind of detail. Yeah.
I think the clearest example we can see of this in the real world are like cocktail menus. I think that's a really good example of what this might look like with a more ornate logo with very clean, very minimal type on like a nice color paper.
Yeah.
So, That's number 9. And then the last one, which again shocked me, their use of imagery here. Number 10, handcrafted in a rebellion of AI generated imagery. We're seeing a shift towards. They're like, we're gonna find the guy who's doing this.
I'm like, they're talking about, they're just talking about everything at this rate. If you're talking about AI imagery trending, and then also the rebellion trending at the same, like we're just covering, just like, it's so broad and so boring. It's
and the examples that they use here. Oh my God. We're seeing a shift towards the earthy and analog, using elements such as organic lettering. What does that mean?
That could be a trend on its own. That's what they'd say.
Earthen textures. What does that mean?
Textured grain.
And handcrafted elements. Texture. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Cereal. Think scrapbooking and hand-drawn doodles.
I've seen plenty of hand-drawn doodles graffitied around my time.
As we've discussed with grainy textures, a pivot towards more natural aesthetics is coming our way in 2025. And again, the examples they use here. Wow is all I'll say.
Like yeah. Ugh. Good stuff, Adobe. Yeah. Round of applause, everyone, for Adobe's amazing list. Truly incredible, worth everyone's time.
Beautiful.
That's inspired me
Beautiful
to
stuff.
use Adobe Express. I think I'm giving up Photoshop. Yeah. I'm going to move to Express, use some templates.
Yeah.
You know what would
be class, Elliot?
Yeah, I can share mine, sure. But you know what would be cool? Like, imagine if they have such a good opportunity, Adobe, to make like an actually good design blog and have some good writings, hire some cool people, get some designers, and instead it's just so much of that is it's just a lot of slop, and it's always tied back to promoting Adobe products. It's like, mate, we're on adobe.com. We know we're already using this shit. Like, it's just,
we're already glazing.
Exactly. Like how Adobe Live are glazing me. Yeah.
They put so much effort into Adobe Live.
Yeah.
Have them, come on, let's translate instead of everybody just being used for like content and stuff. Like, maybe we like extrapolate a little based off of those live sessions of like, this is what we're seeing. The people who are coming on for these live sessions, let's talk about that a little bit more and compile things into maybe like, this is the trends that we've seen because of all the designers who have like a finger on the pulse through their Adobe Live sessions. Let's kind of go, okay, this is what we're seeing. Here's an article based on the real designers that we have on our live streams, what they're saying. But no.
Because that takes too much time.
This is what they did instead.
Legit. It's boring, it's uninspired, and it's a real shame. And speaking of boring and uninspired, it does feel very AI
to be completely honest.
I would be surprised if there was an author credit to that article. That's what it feels like.
I think there is.
We don't need to say the
name. There is not. Never mind. Not? It just says Adobe Express.
There you go. That was probably AI generated. You love to see it, everyone. You love to see it.
There's no author credited.
No opinion. No.
Wow.
Like, I think design trends and analysis works if it comes from an individual with opinions on what they have been seeing personally. But when it comes from a brand and it comes from a corporation and just like, when it comes from, in this case, an application, Adobe Express, like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything because it's immediately tied to just like what you can do in that program. So, boring.
Also, you're trying to sell a product, Adobe Express. This is your sell?
Yeah, legit. I'm going to use Retro Serif. Okay, my research in this,
green.
my in-depth research included watching a video of Will Paterson's design trends because I simply can't help myself. I must talk about it. So Will Paterson did his yearly design trend review. This one, I'm just going to leave this image up for a little bit because this is in the video. That is literally in the video. That is in the video when talking about AI stuff. That is in the video. Just want to make that very clear.
This is why Los Angeles is currently in flames.
Yeah, this is insane. I could not believe it. I lost my mind. He's got some his editor is doing like just going off the chart, like off the chain. Like there is no communication. But so Will does his yearly video. I called him out on my video last year, and I know he watched it because, in fact, I know a few creators watch it because the YouTube side of Design Trends videos has changed. The atmosphere has changed in that there is a guilt in the tone of voice from every creator. There is something about they're just a little bit. Look, we know we shouldn't be doing this, but let's have some fun, And I'm all for fun, but you don't have. There are other fun ideas that exist. So Will did his one. He starts talking about I don't know how trends aren't really that important and stuff like that. And then you go, okay. The first one that he chucked in was this one here, utilitarian design. I think they just got a definition written underneath each of them, so I'm not going to read it out. I think it literally just Google searched it. But the interesting thing I found about this image was that it was found on Arena, whereas last year he found all of his sources from Behance. And I was like, interesting, you've gone to Arena this time. And that was just a personal thing. Utilitarian design is just a style. I don't even know I was like, okay.
Design trend, this is like the most evergreen. Yeah. This is always going to be here.
It's important.
It's the same thing.
It's called UX design, UX UI design. It's a thing.
Yeah. Like utilitarian design, it's why modular furniture always works. Like,
it's just purposeful design. Yeah, legit. Yeah,
it's purposeful. It doesn't have pizzazz.
No, it's the job done.
Interest, but it's just there.
Yeah,
very functional. Sure, I think a hammer is cool when I need to use it. But I'm not showing the hammer to people when I have them over.
No, it's not something worth mentioning. But it's some of this is hardly even worth talking. It's a lot of just the same old shit. Everything animated was number 2, which I thought was quite funny because I think motion design in general has been one that people have talked about a lot, being like, this is the year where we get into motion. This is the year where everything starts moving, and I think it's also gotten to the point where I think people have realized that some things won't move. I think,
and not everything needs an animation.
Not everything needs to move. Yeah, legit.
Like, it's too much. It's overstimulating for a user.
Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of people realized how hard animation is.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
something like I just pick up. It's like you have to spend a lot of time learning an animation program. It's not like I got it now.
Yeah.
Has anyone tried to open After Effects?
Oh God.
I can't. I can't do it.
It's so hard in there. But I think it's because it's really been on the list for so long, a decade. It's been every single year. Motion graphics designers need to learn how to do motion. Designers need to learn how to do motion. I just think
let that go.
There are just now motion designers, people who specialize in it. I think that's all there is to it. And I think a lot of this, they're really good at it. And
let
you know
them
what?
do
Good
it.
for them. Exactly. So I think a lot of these trends that people push is here's this new thing that you need to learn, and I've also got a tutorial about it. I don't know. I think it's just revealing that people end up specializing, and that, yeah, I think in a way that there will be clients who seek AI stuff. There will be designers who specialize in AI stuff. Let them do it. We don't want to touch it. Speaking of which, here is generative AI, which is just a feature. This shoe specifically I wanted to mention because he did a series of these shoes that these artists made, these Nike shoes, and said, I mean, look how cool these shoes are. I think
affiliated
he said that or
with
something.
Nike?
No, I don't think they were. I think this was just some fan work that was found somewhere. And this was the best example that he showed, along with obviously the
right
hidden behind.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
There's some really important work there. And this got, I think one comment I thought was quite funny, which said something like, cool is subjective. I don't think the shoes are very cool. And I was like, cool. That's funny. So, yeah. Saying AI is trending is just fucking dumb. Yeah.
And it keeps going. I thought maybe he would design the titles to match the
this is
the trends.
That's I think one of the most fun part. When I really like it when the trend videos have the title they just try to design in the trend, but this is all just what the asterisks. I just don't get it. There's only 5 on this list, so the second last one here is hand drawn, which is once again a classic. And I think I didn't listen to it, but I think like he included footage of himself like drawing a logo, because I think he's got a course that teaches you how to do hand-drawn stuff, which ties into my point once again that none of this has any meaning. It's all just an ad. Every single list like this is all just an ad. And I feel like I could come up with categories that everyone does. Like, and there's always going to be something to do with organic, something to do with brutalism, which I think is like utilitarian or like anti-design, something like that. Now there will always be something to do with AI. Some kind of geometry or shapes or something like that people love.
Grid.
And grid and vintage retro and then motion. I think that's 3D, motion/3D. I think that's your 6, and it's just that over and over and over again.
That's why we'll talk about it later, but like this truly like this is so not helpful, and like I just feel like if you're catering to graphic designers, give them stuff that is actually going on.
Yeah, legit.
Like this is just like when I read these things, I'm like, you guys just don't. You're not like a working graphic designer. You're not actually dealing with like clients. You're not doing this design research on a daily basis where you would pick up on these things.
Yeah.
Like that's why like these things just bother.
Yeah.
They bother you and I so much because it's like, where are you people? Like it's very. How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, right? And I think, like, honestly, Reddit has a point when they say that, and you'll never hear me say that again, where I think, like...
I think Reddit has a point.
I think Reddit has a point here. When they say, like, graphic design content creators who exclusively do graphic design content and don't do any actual work, but yet still make advice or make, like, discuss the industry without actually doing it. Like, it's something that I'm very cautious of as someone who doesn't do like too much design work at all. But I can confidently say that I am consistent with who I talk to and how consistently aware I am of the industry. Being that since I take the piss out of the industry, I get a lot of messages and a lot of insight and a lot of conversation with people discussing the industry and the faults in the industry. I think I have some kind of standing where I can make statements about things that are happening. But I think if you're kind of like tunneled into this one kind of corner and you're making broad statements about the entire thing, it's kind of like you need to understand where you fit into graphic design's so huge that I think it's like you can say shit, but like understand where you fit in it all. It's not such a broad, like we like to think as graphic designers this all in, kind of thing, but it's like there are different sectors and they all have different trends. They all have different important things about them, and that's like what's so fun about it, I think. Anyway, number 5 is nostalgic design. And this title is different for some reason. This is the only one that's different, which I don't understand. And it's on a Game Boy. So anyway, that was Will's list. Just a gold mine of stuff.
Wow.
Only 5 this year. Someone was busy. So yeah, that's
kind of blowing my mind.
It's about as good as it gets on the YouTube end of things. Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
That's my contribution.
Okay. Next, we're going to go through, and I'm going to try to go through these faster because I want to get to my end point.
I realize we have somehow gone 40 minutes.
I know. That's us, It
is us. That's what we do. Let's talk about our weeks.
So this next one is coming from Canva, and to my, again, shock, Canva really nailed it. They are not a company that really poses themselves as a very serious design platform. And from our experience, very lovely people.
Yeah, lovely
They're
people.
just there to have a good time. And I don't want to say like proud, but I'm really happy to see a company that is not Adobe have a really good grasp on good visuals of what they're referencing with trends. I guess like that's the main thing, is that the other people are really bad at explaining it and then also using like visual references to accompany it. So it's like the general idea might be there, but they don't know what that actually looks like. So the first one on this list is what they're calling shape theory. It's hip to be square again. Well, any shape really. This modular style uses bold shapes to create structure while adding backlit photography and warm colors to create a personal touch. It's functional meets friendly. So like, I think this is a really good use and application of the shapes or the shape trend in stark contrast to Adobe's caca approach to shapes here.
Yeah.
But my point being that this is really a good use of when we say like shapes are trending, this is a really good application. So people look at this and go, oh, I see what they mean. This makes sense of putting images within these bounds using really cool type, using the type in a way that is very shapely, like with this iconic chair. Like that's a good implementation of that trend theory. So
yeah, I like that it's more than just the, like you can see it in different elements of it. Yeah, as much as shape, the names of these will always kill me. I think shape theory is such a funny thing.
Oh, they're always funny.
Oh, they're always funny. That's the thing. I think once you get past that, I also think 9 examples. That's a good number. That's a good. We're not more than just 2.
Yes.
We can definitely
and they're
sit.
good examples.
Yeah, they look nice. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, this is one that I really like, and I feel like this has been bubbling for a long time, particularly in the beauty industry. Is this opulence era, is what they're calling it. Step into a life of luxury. This trend pairs minimalist aesthetics with rich, intricate details, balanced by generous negative space. It evokes understated glamour through a striking yet harmonious design composition. So I love this. Good examples of really like minimal, clean typography, very relaxing colors that feel sort of like retro. It feels like you're going to a nice, cool, hip spa. It feels like the Ace Hotel.
Yes. Yes. I think what really just sets it different is if you choose good quality images and like genuinely nice design stuff, you believe in whatever
good images,
like,
good
I
type.
believe it. Yeah. Like legit, I'm like, oh yeah, because I think it's that thing of like, I have genuinely seen this around and I've seen it more and more. And
yes, then
you go to the, what happens when you just use the Adobe templates, for example, is no one's seen this. Like, it's just not a, if you can't see them in life, there's no point to talking about it, and this is like a good example.
And it's going to feel very amateur. And I think it's also worth noting that Canva is like the competitor to Adobe Express. So these are templates that Canva is advertising to you in the same manner as Adobe Express. So these are templates. And so what that does is pull people to Canva because they're looking at the quality of these templates and go, wow, these are really good. They look professional. They don't look amateur.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the ones in Adobe Express.
Their templates they're getting
stellar.
They're getting pretty
They're genuinely
good. They're getting really good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, I like this. Let me move it down. Serious fun, which I like. A fun way to mix business with pleasure. This playful yet strategic style blends humor and casual elements in unexpected ways to reimagine what a professional design could be. It's everything you need to love your work. This feels very much like I Love Creatives, if you know them.
Yeah.
I think they were like an early innovator of this style in like 2016, 2017. And Puno, who leads that, I think is like a really innovative graphic designer. So yeah, I love this. I love the whimsy of it. I think the colors are good. And the main thing with all of these, the type is so strong.
Oh yeah.
Like it is make or break. And this is a really good example of really, really good type takes it well over that finish line. If that type was like just slightly different, it would really kill the whole vibe, which is why it's important to take time to learn. If you're not doing like templative work like this, take time to learn why type works and how it works and how it will fit into the work that you do. And it's just something that comes with time and practice, but it carries these trends.
These are like bang on what I'm seeing as well. I think especially like on because I know obviously Canva leans towards like branding designers, product designers, and stuff like that. That like just a cross sectional, and I think Instagram ads, for example, is a good indication of like what is working. And I think like these are all incredibly accurate and incredible examples of what is actually being made right now in terms of, at least in the branding sphere. They're nailing it. This is pretty scary.
Here's your motion thing. Future in motion. A little movement goes a long way. This trend confidently incorporates motion to enhance the storytelling experience. Think animated gradients and dynamic typography to create rhythm and flow. Beautifully said. That's exactly how I would describe this. It's very like type kind of like slinking in and out, things slowly rotating, frames slowly rotating over an image,
dynamic
gradient slowly moving. Yeah. Very like, I think what makes motion design effective is that's what they say about art, is that art is knowing when to stop. And I think that's where we see effective motion instead of really overdone. There's too much going on, which I feel like happened for a little bit and a lot of people scaled back. This one I really like, this refined grit. Sometimes less really is more. This trend challenges conventional aesthetics with a stripped back style that encourages unique visual identities and distinct voices. It's doing its own thing effortlessly. How cool. I think this is such a refreshing take on like just saying something is minimal.
Yeah.
Come on, let's pull out the source, guys. Like this is what I'm saying. Like good type, good color, interesting layouts, really dynamic photography. That's what pulls all of this together.
I think it's like it's so fun. I think if you take the title and the text and you put on the Adobe one for textured grain or whatever, I would slam it. I'd laugh at it because of the examples that they show. But the power that genuinely good examples have on making me go like, well, of this is so like this is true.
Elliot, you're saying this isn't inspiring?
Like the movie night one. I mean, come on, like. Some of these have like the same color palette, the same like kind of type style, but it's just done in such a better way. Like
this is what we're talking about. Like
made by
type,
people who get it. Yeah.
If like this could be much more effective if it had better type. If you pulled like
that Your Home Your Rules one is
right
so
here,
good. Yeah.
That's so good. And then you could even keep these frames. I'm not in the frame. These like film strip frames, if you added like this, what's it called? Not Bookman. It's on the tip of my tongue.
ATC, the ITC Benguiat. No, that's not
Benguiat,
it. Is it? The Stranger Things one. Yeah.
Yes, ballpark. It's somewhere. It's in the Benguiat family. But yeah, like taking that like classic horror like font being so eloquently used here. And then you added that here with like, I love really, really wide leading. That's something that I've started implementing more in my work.
It's
so
like, purposeful. It's so good. Yeah.
Fully vertical across this would have like really pulled it together, but no, because they choose really weak type options. That's not an option for them because they're allergic to good type over there.
Adobe have a long way to go when it comes to getting templates as good as this is like. I didn't realize how good these were. This is wild.
Okay, and then this one, mechanical botanical technology. Say hello to biology. This trend blends dreamy nature textures with the intentional use of gradients and negative space to create harmony. It seems like opposites really do attract.
Cheeky.
I love this. Yeah. I feel like this is something that I've started to implement more in my own work. A lot of organic elements. I take a lot of pride in like my organic element assets that I create. And I love finding interesting ways to infuse it into a digital space. So this is really nice to see. And they had like more examples that went with this. Like each tab, I only pulled a brief example, but they really put in the effort to show these examples. So if you want to see the full examples of all these, go head over to Canva's trend forecasting. And then the last one I'll pull here is one that doesn't surprise me at all of their inclusion. Analog meets AI, out with the old, in with the new. In 2025, expect the two to come together inspired by analog techniques like collage. This intersection of the past and present opens up new design possibilities in the age of AI. So I think this is really nice to see. There's what, again, Adobe was trying to say, but this was said much more eloquently and with really good references. And this is something that I have been doing a lot in my own personal work, like explicitly as a means of rebuttal to the ubiquity of AI. So I really like this. Good example. Thank you.
This
Brave and noble people like Canva.
Very interesting. I think, would you say that, because I remember when we looked into the 2024 trends when we were doing research for our talk, and it wasn't anywhere near as good as, I remember like we weren't blown away by it at all.
I think they listened to us.
Because I met the guy who wrote the 2024 one, and he was like quite offended that we were going to do a talk about it. I think like it was quite like, it was quite a weird interaction. Like it was nice, but it was also
because
like,
we kind of took the piss out of it a little bit.
Yeah. And then this is like a complete, like, this
I
is
walked in for this.
I also like that it feels also like a recap on 2024's design as well. Like this feels like what I saw last year, which I like too. And I think that is when I'm, talking about how quickly design trends kind of change. Well, don't change. I get like how long it takes for a trend to truly be like set in as a trend. I think it is like cool to show what worked last year. Because what worked last year will probably almost certainly do well this year as well. Like it just not enough time has passed.
Well, it was like sort of not like underground, but it was like bubbling under the surface last year. And then I think this year it's really going to come to a head.
Yeah.
I'm really like, people at Canva, great work.
They hire some talented fucking designers to make those templates. That's like, that's some good stuff. And some people may be scared by that, but I honestly just think this makes people care more about design. And I think that's a good thing at the end of the day. Because this will get your ordinary, your everyman to start caring a bit more about what they see. I genuinely think that when you have better design out in the world. So
yes,
I think it's a net positive. Call me crazy, call me a fool, but I do think it's good.
Okay. Can I do my actual trend predictions?
Please.
So, I only have 4 pulled together here because I think, like, I agree with pretty much everything that was distilled in the Canva trends. I think that's all, like, sweeping generalization about what we're seeing. And that's stuff that, like, we have been seeing for a couple years, but I feel like it's really starting to evolve into something more refined, and that's kind of what has been brought into this list. So this is my harebrained, what I think I'm going to see more this year. And it's worth noting, this is all stuff that I've been seeing for a long time, but there's a little voice in my brain telling me this is the year that it's gonna break into the mainstream. So I feel like in past years, I've been pretty good about predicting these things. And I think it's just because I do so much client-facing work that I feel what people are looking for. I feel what people are approving. I see what people are resonating with on social media. And so here's my professional opinion. I don't know. I hate describing these things.
You're saying a lot without even just looking at it. So there's a very clear, I feel like visually it's very clear what ties them all together. Yeah.
I feel like this is like it's a mix of like a desert hotel from the early 60s, like a postcard from a desert hotel, meeting like cowboy, meeting like, I don't know, like I don't know how to, this is what I was saying. I don't know how to describe it, but it's very hand-drawn.
Yes.
Very
organic.
Retro typography.
Yep.
Paper texture, but it feels very hand done. It feels almost unfinished. And I think that's something that I feel like we're going to see more this year as everything is becoming so like refined, that I think there is so much beauty in this half finished work that all of these feel like they're supposed to be part of something else, but they were left behind.
Yes.
I like that this horse feels like it's missing the rest of the horse, or Pegasus, sorry. But like, I love this. I like that this postcard feels like somebody had it and then just doodled on it, very much like a napkin at a bar type of thing. So, or like old like letterheads and stuff. Like I like the idea of there being like a letterhead from an old motel that I would find at like a swap meet in Joshua Tree or something. So I don't know what to call that.
Yeah. But
I
completely, I love that. It's very stamp. It's very, it's like the end, there was that whole drama around like the Clara album is because there was like a collection of assets that were open source, I think, but some of them weren't open source. So it was like old assets that were taken out of context like that and put into like a big folder. And I do think that's it. It's like pulling out looking at like an old design and finding that just one little feature that just stands out in a unique way, and then taking that and using it and trying to replicate that feeling, I think.
Definitely.
I agree.
I think if you want to pull stuff that looks like that, stuff that you can actually use in your work, at the beginning of every year, the essentially Internet Archive of a public domain library, essentially, you can access it through Flickr, through the Internet Archive on Flickr. There's a couple other websites too. I will pull some of the ones that I use and I'll post them on Instagram. But every year, at the beginning of the year, a ton of new stuff goes into the public domain. So it's stuff that's usually 100 years old that you can legally use in your work. So if you want to use like bits and pieces of old stuff from like books and things, it's stuff that you can use in your work. So if you want to, there's stuff like that out there, and that's the best part for me. At the beginning of every year, I'm like, ooh, a ton of stuff just went into the public domain. So
can you imagine what that should be like 100 years from now, when like this stuff that's getting made gets put in the public? Like it'll be bizarre.
I'm imagining this entering the public domain.
Yeah, legit. God.
So this next thing, did I include myself in this? Yeah.
Proudly.
I did. Okay. Proudly. I have no shame. Absolutely no shame in the game because I feel like I'm right. So I, to my core, feel a deep sense that cyanotype and other kinds of physical printing are going to become a really big thing, similar to what these other things said about as a rejection of modernity, the rejection of the use of AI. Doing stuff like this is one of the most radical things that you can do as an artist, is doing like practicing physical media. So I think a really good way of doing that is with cyanotype. I've done so much stuff. These bottom two are things that I've done with cyanotype. I love doing it. And I started doing kind of these like mandalas and like tessellations with them. And I think it's so fun. So you can get a cyanotype kit for pretty cheap online at your local art store. The kit that I have was $10. It's just all the paper, and it's just a lot of trial and error, but it's really fun. And I have a video on my YouTube channel if you want to go watch it about how humbling cyanotype can be. But I see this becoming a really big thing this year, specifically like sun printing in general. And I think everybody should do it at least once in their life because it's really fun. And you start thinking about the sun and how weird and strange it is. It
looks so good. It just has that unique feeling when you look at it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's just something about it. There's something about it.
Okay, and then this other one, like this has been a trend for a little bit. It's like scanner core, but not like a scanner as in like the Xerox distressed grungy texture thing. But I think with like the rise in like accessorizing bags too, or like accessorizing shoes and the new like personality display of things that we keep on our person, I think are really interesting. And then putting them flat on a surface as like a display of, look at this. So like on a scanner or just on like a blank background. And I included these pressed pansies in here because I think it falls into the same category of the like scanner effect, but in a new way that I find quite interesting. And then like this one in the upper left-hand corner, this haunts me, but in the best way. I think about this image all the time. I love it so much.
That's so cool.
I love the shells. I love the flowers. I love the ostrich feather, like the tarot cards, the fiddleheads. Like, I love that so much. And I just like how it's arranged. So same thing with these, like, it's like you dumped out your pockets and then threw them onto like a scanner. Like, I love that. So I'm expecting to see this more. I really like these little like personality vignettes. Love
I like that it ties into like what people are consuming as well in terms of like people, like I think we've talked about people getting merch at concerts. People are now leaning towards the smaller stuff, like what's like a small little good that they can take away. And I found that I'm the exact same when it comes to like, I've gone from getting like bigger things like Dr. Toothy over here to like the smaller little figures that I much more prefer. Like, yeah, it's cool.
We have too much stuff.
We do have too much
stuff. And people are missing the personal element of just like small, quaint things.
Yeah. It's quaint as.
And my last trend. Oh, I got Gus is out the door. Gus wants to see this trend.
Gussie.
Thank you.
Taylor Swift, everyone.
Okay.
Would it be a Kel trend recap without a Taylor Swift reference?
It's impossible. You can't escape it. So this last trend is similar to what the other ones had mentioned about the use of collage. And this is something that I really spent a good chunk of this past year doing in a lot of my work, because it is what my clients who get it have been requesting it, and they want physical collages. They don't want a digital rendition. They want the real thing. And it's hard. It's hard to replicate something digitally. Ironically, like people think, I can tell.
Paper texture add noise.
Yeah. I'm like, but why does it completely lack dimension? You just slapped it on there. Don't think because you set it to like overlay that I can't still see that it's the exact same texture all over the entire thing.
The coffee stain goes across all of it. It's amazing.
It doesn't bend. Yeah. But I put it on. I did a displacement map. It shifted. No, I can tell. So, like I said with the cyanotype, doing stuff like this is a radical rejection of artificial intelligence. And as a graphic designer, I think it is a really good skill, I guess, to have, to be able to create physical media like this. I think it makes you a better designer because it forces you to think in a more permanent manner. Like you have a glue gun in your hand, you have Mod Podge out, you got to commit. You can't pixel push for 7 hours. You have to make a decision. So, and it like makes you think about the resources that you already have around you, because my best collages have been made with like just stuff I already had in my house. Like, just if you want to make stuff, print something out and then just cut it up a million times. Like, that's how I did like some of the album art that I did this year. Like, I think it's a very cool way of approaching a craft that we're already familiar with. And I just love like the flat lays and the scans of like what's in your purse type of thing, these little personality vignettes. And I feel like that's just what we're going to become in the next year, of not like necessarily product focus, but it's like, this is who I am. These are things in my life. Things I feel like are going to become more personal and, I don't know, individualized, I guess. But yeah, I like mixed media a lot. And this is just a Taylor Swift collage that I really like, because I like the emphasis on the lyrics. And I think that's what makes a lot of these collages really cool, is the use of like dynamic words. And that was another trend that I saw, of doing more with words instead of with visuals. Like, I found that to be an interesting way to describe trends.
Yeah.
Is more verbal descriptions and less visual description. So I think the Taylor one of saying, before I learned civility, I used to scream ferociously, like that juxtaposed with the image. I really like that dynamic.
Copy is so underused in design, I'll say that.
It really, like,
as someone who
meaningful copy, not slop.
exclusively does copy, yeah, like exclusively does it, like never uses images or anything like that. You can change my favorite thing to do is change how someone would read a joke based on how you lay out the text. And I think it's such a fun thing that people don't do enough. Like you can completely change a joke purely based on how and it's just it can be, if it's awkward text, designing it awkwardly. So you're forcing the reader to read it awkwardly, I think is so much fun. Yeah, I love shit like that. I love text. Kel, I think these are all bang on. It's genuinely, it's all just trending towards, I think, like you said, like finding things that can't be replicated, right? Like in a world where we're told that everything's going to be replicated by an AI, I think it is inevitable that this kind of style will trend, like things that can't be replicated, which is that authentic human touch. And I think that that's really fun, and it's good that is happening. So. Yeah, it's like that real. It's a tribute to who we are as people. It's a tribute to our minds. It's a beautiful thing
as artists.
Yeah,
which is, I feel like, why we went into this to begin with is because we're artists.
We want to create. We want to make stuff that we can that isn't just for the client. We want to make stuff that we enjoy. Tribute stuff like the Taylor Swift stuff. What a lovely homage. There's a lot of love behind it. I think it's high effort as well. Like I think. I'm excited to see what that does. Like I think it's the stuff that takes that extra bit of skill, that extra bit of practice, that once again can't just be generated with a prompt. It's like that stuff that really takes a true understanding of how to make something the way that you want to make it. And I think that's going to be really fun. I look forward to that. And I think people will start respecting it more as well. They'll start seeing the effort and really like respecting that level of effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Definitely. Cool.
Good stuff.
All right, let's go into our song of the week and we'll wrap.
Yeah. This is going smoothly. This is fun.
I know. Look at us.
I really liked this. Yeah. We're going to have fun with this in the future.
I know. Guys,
Figma.
everything's coming.
It's coming, guys. We love Figma. All right. I have a song of the week. I'm ready to go.
Go for it.
Shoot. Okay. My song of the week is an old classic that I heard a few years ago, and I re-liked it. I unliked it and re-liked it so it would go to the top of my liked songs. That's how much I love this song, and I forgot it existed. It's Infinite Wisdom by Laura Groves. I've gone and listened to Laura's entire discography, and it truly is some of the most lovely music I've ever listened. I cannot get enough. And I think it's going to be a kelliot classic, not going to lie. I think everyone will like this song. That's what I'll say about it. And that's my song of the week.
All right. And my song of the week is going to be Navy Blue by Muna. Devastating song. So, sorry guys.
Devastating.
Muna doesn't have a lot of really devastating songs, but Navy Blue is one of them. But it has like the most gorgeous like bridge outro that it haunts me. Again, positive connotation, very sad song. But yeah, I really like it, and that's why I'm exposing you guys to it, because it's beautiful. Nice. I was gonna do Loose Garment, but I won't do that to you guys. That's too much. That's too much for the kelliot members.
I'm just now realizing that we can do if we want to do a fun of the week, we can actually show it now.
Oh yeah.
By moving it, which would help, which is also another thing that would just be fantastic. So in fact, I'm gonna add a song of the week, a font of the week. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm gonna do the one that I messaged you the other day because I really like that font. This is this font here is a font called, and I can actually write. I can write it up as well. This is Greed by XYZ Display. This is Greed condensed specifically. I had been looking for a font like this for a very long time, and then I found it. Unfortunately, the license is quite expensive, so Kel sent me some great alternatives. Did I end up buying the font anyway? Maybe. Because I used the trial one and I was like, nothing can do it, and I'm a fool. But it's a tax write-off. So shout out to Greed by XYZ Display. That is my This is my font of the week. Get out of here. This is great that we can do this. I'm very happy about this.
Oh man, maybe I'll just let yours rock. I don't have any groundbreaking new ones. And I'll let you rock with your selection.
All right. Too easy. The Elliot fun of the week. Never, impossible. They said it wasn't possible. They said it wasn't possible. Well, too easy. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Kelliot. This went really well, I think. Let us know if you like the new style of like a visual aid, because I think it hopefully Spotify users, you should have been able to watch this on video as well. Hopefully, if I got around to doing that. I hope. Awesome. And I think I'll make a custom thumbnail for this one as well. I think we can do that. So just to give you guys a sense of what we're thinking, like this will be, we're gonna give it put a lot more effort into the structure of these episodes, and like now that we have a visual aid, I think it's a lot easier to find things we can talk about and point to, and that kind of loose structure that I know some people will still seek of us just kind of having a chat will be around. It will mostly be
over on the Patreon.
That's over the Patreon. That's Unmeta Kelliot, which is the original intention of Unmeta Kelliot that we lost along the way. So we're bringing that back because if we had to record another episode after this, we would just talk slop, and that's what we like on that one. Like that's the thing. That's what happens when you do a high effort episode. You burn out, and then that's where the funny stuff comes from. So that's what we've been thinking, and I hope it works out for you guys. But yeah, this was fun. This was unreal.
This was good. I feel like we were actually helpful. But if you guys want more content from us, you can head over to patreon.com/kelliot and join for $5 a month. And you get minimum 2 bonus episodes a month. And we have some new stuff in the works for the members over on Patreon. So if you want to jump in, go back, listen through the backlogs of Unmeta Kelliot from the past 6, 7 months?
8 episodes?
8 months?
We started the Patreon quite late into it, so that's why there's only...
Yeah, but there's some good stuff over there, and then you can join our super fans over there. But good stuff, and if you want that extra content, that's where you should go.
And follow the Instagram. More stuff coming up over there too. Guys, we're going. With New Year, we're getting it together. Business meeting was real. We should do that monthly to stay on track.
I want to do it every week, girl.
Yeah, honestly, it was good. It was a good chat. Okay, we did it. We didn't even do it before we recorded. That's when we usually do it after we record.
We did this 2 days ago.
2 fucking days ago. We filmed Kelliot on Monday. At least my time. Filmed Kelliot on Monday. Business meeting on Wednesday, and then filmed Kelliot again on Friday. It's been Kelliot week. But Kelliot pilled again. It's exciting.
Kelliot pilled. We're so back, guys.
We're so back. All right. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.